What are preferences? Why do we bother with them? And what are they for? Welcome to this thrilling electoral tale. The way preferences are talked about makes them seem complex, but the idea behind them is simple. When it comes down to the two most popular candidates, which one do you prefer? First, the why. We have preferences because we only vote in one person, and sometimes the vote for one side or the other is split. Here's a simple example of what I'm talking about. Say you have an electorate and there are three candidates on the ballot: a National, a Liberal and a Labor. Now, say most of the people there are pretty conservative. Some of those will vote for the Nats, some for the Libs. But everyone on the progressive side only has one option: Labor. And that means the Labor candidate could get more votes, even though most people want either of the other two. If the Liberal hadn't run, the National would have won the seat. If the National hadn't run, the Liberal would have won. But because they both did, without preferences, Labor wins. By using preferences, the candidate that most people actually preferred gets in. The same thing can happen on the other side too, say with a Labor and a Green candidate splitting the progressive vote and allowing a Liberal to win. Who wins the seat shouldn't come down to which other parties decide to run. So that's why we have them, and they're actually a pretty good idea. But if you listen to the way the parties talk about them, you'd think that they're all worked out in advance. They're not. Each voter can use their preferences however they want. When you hear the media talk about preference deals, that's just for the how to vote cards, the things that those annoying people shove in your face when you're trying to get to the booth or find the Lamington stall on election day. Those cards are just how each party wants you to vote, but you can put the candidates in any order you want. Lots of people actually like the how to vote cards, and one of the main reasons is that there are people on the ballot that they've never heard of. How are you meant to know whether to put Rhonda Smedley from the Sun-Ripened Warm Tomato Party ahead of independent Barry Smithers? You don't even know who they are or what they stand for. But unless they're really high profile and have a chance of winning, which probably means you have heard of them, it actually doesn't matter. What matters is who you give your vote to, and then whichever of the two most popular candidates you put above the other one. So here's how it works. I'm just talking here about voting for your local member, which is the smaller green ballot paper. I'll ignore the Senate, the big white paper, for a moment. When you get your ballot paper, it has all of the candidates on it. Maybe there's 3, maybe there's 10. Preferences work the same way, no matter how many there are. To keep it simple, my example has 4. The first thing they do is count the primary votes for every candidate, the people who put a 1 in their box. If someone has more than half the votes, they're the winner because nobody else can get more. If nobody has half, as in our example, they drop off the party with the least votes and distribute their preferences. So here, they drop off the Badger Party and give their votes to the second choice. They're effectively saying, look, the Badgers just aren't popular enough, they can't win. Which of the others do you prefer? Let's say that most of their preferences go to the Walrus Party, but some also go to the others. There's still nobody with half the votes, so they drop off the Otter Party and do the same thing. Now, some of these were votes that were originally given to the Badgers and then to the Otters. These people have their third preference, but it still counts for a full vote. These people probably don't like either of the remaining candidates much, but they'll also probably prefer one to the other, and they're still getting a say about which one of them wins. In our example, the Penguin Party wins, even though the Walruses got more primary votes. They won on preferences. As I said earlier, the preferences count for just as much as the primary votes. It's not half a vote or something, it's a full vote. Sometimes you hear people say that a vote for a minor party is a wasted vote. That's utter rubbish. It counts just as much as a vote for the majors and has the extra advantages of boosting the party you like the most and letting the major parties know what you care about. Plus, parties are given money for each vote they receive. It's weird but true. So if you like the policies of a smaller party, voting for them first will help them grow and reach more people next time. And, thanks to preferences, your vote will never be wasted. So that's how preferences work for the House of Reps. The same principle applies in the Senate, the one with the big white ballot. It's more complex because instead of voting in one person, we have to vote in 12 people for the whole state. But it works the same way. The take-home message is to vote for whoever you like most. If that's one of the big parties, great. If not, don't let anyone tell you your vote won't count. It will.